Now, I'm not gonna lie, mate. I've been out of the game. BBWs ain't been doing too well. But Callie gave me a special gift for Christmas. It's kind of scary, mate. What's going on with y'all, big dog, and Merry Christmas? I hope you guys are having an amazing day and holiday. But if you aren't, don't let what happened at the beginning of your day ruin the rest of your day. Today, I wanted to take the time to thank every single one of you guys for watching my videos. It has been nothing less than amazing. I appreciate every single one of you guys. And as a special thanks, I actually wanted to give you a deck that I've been having so much fun with. It's actually an incredibly powerful deck. But what's really crazy is the success that I've been having with Scareclaw. It is actually a way better deck than what people think. I think it can not only beat some of the top decks consistently, that it's actually going to be one of those secret decks that not a lot of people are paying attention to and can steal a ton of games. And in today's video, I'm going to be showing you what I have had so much success with. I even went undefeated at a tournament with this particular deck. Of course, I got to give a mad shout out to my boy George Baba Mirza with his 9th place finish with the Scareclaw. I drew a lot of inspiration from his deck and have been winning way too many games since. While I do have your attention, I want to give a special thanks to every single one of my Patreons. Thank you guys so much for helping me with my editors, as not only do we have the regular channel in Master Duel Callie, we are also going to be making Casual Callie a really fun channel. But with all that out of the way, I won't waste any more of your time. I'm going to be showing you a phenomenal Scareclaw deck. So the thing that I like so much about Scareclaw is just its raw potential. This deck is an amazing going second deck that can OTK with ease, but also it can make some really fearsome, underrated boards going first. I've actually been doing really well with this deck, including going undefeated, and this is a build that actually takes inspiration from my buddy George, who got 9th place at the Regionals of Las Vegas, with this deck. So let's go ahead and jump on in so I can explain why I play these cards and why they are so powerful. For the Scareclaw engine, there is 3 copies of Scareclaw right card. This is easily the best Scareclaw monster in the deck because he can get you so many resources. And the fact that he's a dark monster actually does come up in our favor, though it could come up for the opponents. Now for the other Scareclaw monsters, I play 3 copies of Acro, 3 copies of Astra, and 3 copies of Balone. And in theory, these cards don't necessarily look really good to the deck because they don't provide a lot of power as one would think. Well, in actuality, these cards are ridiculous, and opening multiple copies of Scareclaw monsters is a really good thing, especially in this deck. Keep in mind, these Scareclaw monsters can summon themselves to the side of the field to an adjacent Scareclaw monster, meaning that they're all starters and extenders in their own right. And since they all are able to be link summoned into a particular card that searches the other Scareclaw monsters, this is actually really good for allowing me to break boards and being able to OTK my opponent. Now, I do complement that with only 2 copies of Primitive Planet Reichphobia, and the reason why that I'm only playing 2 is because I think this is actually not a good card to open. Since we do play 12 Scareclaw monsters that you can go into your Visa or your Scareclaw Lightheart, that means you can essentially search this card almost 12 times from your deck to your hand. With that being said, this is a card that you don't want to add or immediately have in your hand because it is a free card. It's a card that you want to search, which is the reason why I played it at 2. I actually do, one thing I want to point out is that I have been forgetting this effect often, is that it can destroy a free card on the field as long as there are 3 defense position monsters on the field. That includes you and your opponents. I do not want you guys to forget this, so I'm putting that out there that card effect is busted. 1 copy of Visa Starfrost. This guy is amazing, guys. He is the bee's knees. I wish that I could play more. This is actually one of the differences that me and my buddy George has. He plays 2 copies of Visas. I play 1. The reason why this card is so good is because it's an easy to summon level 6 tuner monster, which gives you access to synchro plays and also some Exceed plays, but it actually is a card that allows you to extend a little bit further. There's only 2 copies of Scareclaw Arrival. This can technically serve as a second Scareclaw monster in your hand if you only open 1. And the reason why I decided only to play 2 copies of this card, despite it not being a hard once per turn, is because technically this increases the account of my Scareclaw monsters, and I don't necessarily need this card most of the time. Since I have an 87% chance of opening 2 Scareclaw monsters in my hand because I play roughly 14, I can actually be able to full combo without this card. And on top of that, this particular deck is built to be able to summon additional bodies to the side of the field, meaning that I don't need multiple Scareclaw monsters in my hand every single time. This card is really good for the follow-up or going for game though. The better cards that I would search off of my effect of my Scareclaw right card would be Scareclaw Scash and Scareclaw Twinsaw. Scareclaw Splash is a little bit more generic as it is a negation, but Twinsaw is amazing if you know the matchup. If your opponent is weak to destruction, you search this card. If your opponent is really weak to Scareclaw Trigard and they want to be able to get rid of it with a particular link monster, this shuts down that entire avenue, which can outright win you the game. From there, we have another engine in this deck, and I understand that it could be a little bit expensive, but I do play an adventure engine in this deck with 3 copies of Rite of Aramesir, 2 copies of Water Enchantress of the Temple. Now, there's multiple reasons why the adventure engine is just so free in this particular deck. The first thing is that your Scareclaw monsters, except for Rykart, don't activate their normal summoned effects. There's no normal summoned effect to be active, so basically you almost skip the drawback of Rite of Aramesir. The next thing is that there are so many powerful decks in Yu-Gi-Oh! That literally have to respect the adventure engine, or they can lose their entire board or have their entire play disrupted. I absolutely love that my opponent has to focus on this particular engine before anything else, or we just pretty much win for free. The last thing is that Water Enchantress of the Temple, like the other adventure monsters, can summon itself to the side of the field for free, meaning that it is another quote-unquote Scareclaw body that you can summon to be able to go into some pretty significant link plays. From here, 1 copy of Illegal Knight and 1 copy of Wandering Griffin Rider. This card is amazing at breaking boards, and this card is amazing at stopping your opponent from stopping you from making your board, as well as just disruption. Of course, we play 1 copy of Fateful Adventure, and as of right now, none of these cards in the hand are ever bricks, because this is a free body, this gets your combo, and this can get you into your free bodies, or put a Water Enchantress in the graveyard for a free body. So we use this engine more than just summoning Griffin and Legal Knight. We use every component of the engine. The only real brick is the Draco back. I've drawn this card so many times. It doesn't really affect me much because the deck, like, it doesn't necessarily need all of the cards in the hand. It just needs cards in your hand most of the time. So as long as you don't draw the Draco back, like just the Draco back, you draw other adventure parts with your Draco back, you're more than likely good. That's it for the adventure engine. Now, my buddy George actually inspired me to play the Bestial engine in my deck. So I play 3 copies of Magnum Mutt and 2 copies of Bestial Druid's Worm. I really want to play a 3rd Druid's Worm or a Serenaire, but I don't want to go over 42 cards. I've been considering dropping maybe a Scareclaw Balloon, as it's probably the worst Scareclaw monster. But the reason why these cards are so powerful is because not only is it good in light and dark matchups, but because we do play light and dark monsters that we can easily get into, it stops my opponents from bestialing me, and it provides a free body to my side of the field, which this deck is built on being able to summon bodies. The more bodies you can summon in this deck, the better, because not only does it give you your board breaking capabilities, it also gets you your board making plays. So I do play the Bestials here. And this card is, I feel like it's optional when you play the Bestials. You don't have to play this card, but it's kind of cracked. Kashtira Fenrir is like amazing. And I do understand it does conflict with the Bestial monsters. Hypothetically, if you are playing against your opponent and you Bestial them on their turn, well, you won't be able to summon Kashtira Fenrir to your side of the field. But other than that conflict, these 2 cards in tandem with each other are amazing because this forces so much responses from my opponent, or punishes my opponent for responding for me, and allows me to help break up that board, while also can put a body in defense position. Keep in mind, this deck is built on being able to just put bodies to your side of the board, and that can help you break your opponent's board. Now, moving on for my spice, guys, my absolute spice, I play 2 copies of Alpha Master of the Beast. To be 100%, what convinced me to play this deck was Alpha Master of the Beast, because it's just a phenomenal Yu-Gi-Oh card. This card helps you break so many boards in Yu-Gi-Oh because at very worst, he is a 3,000 attack monster you can summon to your side of the field and immediately threatens a lot of your opponent's cards. The next thing I want to share, what I really like about this deck, this is like the reason why I played this deck, is that like if you have Alpha and Scareclaw monsters, what you can do is that you can normal summon a Scareclaw, special summon your second. Since these monsters are 0 attack, it never affects your opponent having, less attack than you. You then special summon the alpha. You use the alpha to bounce itself in the Scareclaw monster that you normal summon. And then you can special summon the Scareclaw monster and then still special summon the alpha, which is like, yo, it is probably one of the most cracked things about the deck. As you can see, I still have full combo to make my tryhard here, and I literally did not lose anything from that. It's almost amazing. But yeah, Alpha Master of the Beast is a god Yu-Gi-Oh card in this deck because it allows you to break your boards. The only problem is that it's technically a going second card. It can be good against tier limits though. From here, we have 3 copies of Triple Tactics Talent. This card is amazing because it allows me to take my opponent's monster. Keep in mind, this deck is built on bodies on bodies on bodies. The more bodies you can take is amazing, but also just punishes my opponent for interacting with me. That's it for the main board at 42 cards. I know that there's a couple of expensive cards like Kashtira Fenrir and the Bestial monsters in the Adventure Engine, but don't worry guys, I'll actually be putting a budget list, or well, the comment section will help me build a budget list without these cards. I know that these aren't necessarily mandatory for the Scareclaw deck. Moving on into the extra deck, I'm going to kind of blaze through this. There's only one card I really want to talk about, and it's Underworld Goddess of the Closed World. Because this deck can easily put monsters to the side of the field. Being able to link off my opponent's cards is extremely easy. If I ever go against a problematic threat, boom, I summon her. Normally, not a problem. There's also Access Code Talker and a Nightmare Unicorn. These cards are pretty good for helping break your opponent's board. 2 copies of Scareclaw Tryhard. This card is phenomenal. Dark the Dark Charmer and Asa the Earth Charmer. These cards come up a lot. IP Masquerena. Okay, so I used to run Parallel Exceed in this deck, and the reason why I cut out Parallel Exceed is because it feels like a win more card. Oftentimes when you're playing Parallel Exceed, you are hoping that you know what your opponent is playing. Like if I'm playing against a tier limit deck and I summon Baguska, I obviously didn't summon the Optimum Exceed. And if I'm playing against a Flunderee's deck and I summon Dweller, I just gave up the game. So I decided to cut it for that particular reason. And also, if you're normally able to perform your full combo, you don't need the Parallel Exceed. You pretty much just win off for free from there. But IP Masquerena allows me to have a really cool combo to link summon into Underworld Goddess on my opponent's turn because I can put so many free bodies, or allows me to go into Unicorn. An Underworld Goddess that can't be destroyed by card effects and can't be destroyed by something that doesn't target it is like the only out is the Bestial Druid Swarm that's in game. So like I have won so many games just off of summon this and then preventing my opponent from getting the Bestial Druid Swarm to their side of the field. From here, we have 2 copies of Scareclaw Lightheart. I feel that you should only play as many Lightheart as the field spell. That's pretty self-explanatory here because it only searches the field spell. 1 copy of Link Spider. This is for the adventure token. 1 copy of Wolo. This card is, it's really good at disrupting. Beatrice, Lady of the Eternal. It's actually really easy to put a rank 6 on the board in this deck, which allows you to just get so much disruption. And Beatrice can essentially get into your adventure combo. Now, I really wanted to run a Cherubini Ebon Angel of the Burning Abyss because it can also get me into my adventure combo, but I felt that that was maybe too many cards to focus on it, but maybe consider playing the Cherubini. Also, this whole little Exceed lineup was George's idea. He was really, really smart. Like once I seen it, I was like, yo, hold on, wait, these are kind of better. Like this is low-key a better Abyss Dweller at times. This is low-key, it's a really good card. I can send Necroworld Banshee to get Zombie World against Flunderees. Like it's really good. And then Zeus is Zeus, though I don't ever summon it. Lastly is a Better on the Floor because this card is ridiculously easy to summon inside of this deck, helps you break boards and provides that disruption. That's it for the main board and the extra deck, guys. Now I'm gonna show you guys these combos. So the very basic combo is just any 2 Scareclaw monsters, which again, we have a very high percentage chance of opening 2 Scareclaw monsters to be able to do this very basic combo. Now the combo does get bigger depending on the other cards that you have in your hand, but at the very basis, you can go ahead and normal summon any of your Scareclaw monsters and then link it off into your Scareclaw Lightheart. Lightheart's effect will add Primitive Planet Reichphobia, and then you can go ahead and activate your Primitive Planet Reichphobia to be able to add your Scareclaw Reichheart. Special summon your Scareclaw Reichheart and your Balloon, and then right card's effect will activate. I'm sorry, it actually activates when you summon it. Typically, you want to get Scareclaw Splash, but if you know the matchup and it's weak to Scareclaw Twin Saw, this is a better card in my opinion. And then you link off all three of these guys into your Scareclaw Tryhard. Now, finishing up, I will use my Tryhard to be able to summon Balone in this particular situation because it has a bigger body, and then it adds another Scareclaw monster from your deck to your hand, which in my opinion, you should add your Scareclaw right card to be able to follow up with your plays. This little 2-card combo actually is really good because if your opponent can't do anything, keep in mind you still have 3 other cards in your hand. You can be able to negate an opponent's card effect, shift all of their monsters to defense, and then you have game following up. Using Scareclaw Tryhard, you can special summon Astra and then add Acro from your deck to your hand, which essentially means that your Scareclaw Tryhard can attack 3 times, it can inflict piercing, and it gains 1200 attack, making it 4200, and I have not summoned a single monster on the second turn. For combo number 2, I'm just actually going to add 1 additional card to it, which is going to be Rite of Aramais here, and you're going to see how the combo does become a little bit different. From here, we'll go ahead and activate Rite of Aramais here. We will get our token to our side of the field, as well as our Faithful Adventure, and then we will go ahead and normal summon any Scareclaw, using it for a link summon into our Scareclaw Lightheart. Now here we're going to go ahead and use Scareclaw Lightheart as Chainlink 1, Faithful Adventure as Chainlink 2. We will add the Draco back to our hands, and then we'll be able to add our field spell, which is Primitive Planet Phobia. I will then activate Faithful Adventure to be able to add Wandering Griffin Rider, discarding the Draco back, and Draco back will equip to my token. I'll then special summon my Wandering Griffin Rider, and then activate my Primitive Planet Phobia to be able to add my Scareclaw right card. I can special summon my Scareclaw right card to my side of the field, and since I control 3 defense position monsters, not only can I get the Scareclaw Splash, I can draw an additional card. If we didn't automatically have a Scareclaw monster in our hand, this could be our opportunity to potentially draw that card. I'll then finish up by special summoning my last Scareclaw monster and using all of these monsters for a link into our Scareclaw Tryhard, which will then special summon our Scareclaw Acro this time around to defense, to be able to add from our decks to our hand another right card. So in this particular situation, I have Scareclaw Splash to be able to negate a card effect. We have the Scareclaw Tricart, which is chunky 4200, switch all monsters to defense. We have a Scareclaw right card for follow-up, a Wandering Griffin, a Rycophobia, and pretty decent combo pieces. So a lot of you guys are probably wondering, what exactly do I do with Visa Starfrost? And I'll be able to show you. In this particular combo, I'm going to have Visa Starfrost and Scareclaw Acro. There's actually multiple ways you can go about this combo depending on the matchup. Like, if I know for a fact that my Scareclaw Tryhard doesn't do anything, I'll go into Better on the Floor, or if I'm trying to make more normal combo, this is still very possible. We'll normal summon Scareclaw Acro and then use Acro for a link summon into Lightheart, and now Lightheart will be able to add from the deck to the hand the Primitive Planet Phobia. And then I'll use Visa Starfrost, targeting my Scareclaw Lightheart, destroying it to summon itself to the side of the field. Now, since I control a Visa Starfrost, I can special summon Lightheart to my side of the field. And then the cool thing is that you can actually link off your Scareclaw Lightheart again into another Scareclaw Lightheart and trigger its effect to be able to add another Rycophobia from your deck to your hand. I know that's pretty cool because its requirements is just a Scareclaw monster in the main monster zone, not just, you know, it's kind of cool. From here, guys, you got multiple options here. You can go ahead and activate the Primitive Planet Phobia to be able to get your Scareclaw right card, and you can use the right card to be able to get a Scareclaw Twin Saw or your Scareclaw Splash from your deck to your hand, and I'm going to show you these options. Option number 1 is actually an option that I go if I know that Scareclaw Tryhard is not the correct play. I'll synchro summon with these 2 monsters into a Better on the Floor, and the card that I would search is Scareclaw Twin Saw, meaning that I can use Twin Saw to be able to destroy 2 of my opponent's cards, really good against so many decks in the game, and a Better on the Floor negate. And then there's still play number 2, where you just go about your normal day and add the Splash, and now you can use all 3 of these monsters for a link summon into your Scareclaw Tryhard, and Tryhard can then special summon your Scareclaw monster to your side of the field to add another Scareclaw right card from your deck to your hand, meaning that you're sitting on this, which is still pretty good. But that's pretty much all that I have for this Scareclaw deck. If you want to see this Scareclaw deck in action, I actually have a video on this, which is crazy. Go ahead and check it out. It was really fun testing the deck before I could figure out all of the deck's combos and do so well with it. Until next time, guys, go ahead and check on these videos, as I'll catch you on the next one.